Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in, or thanks for coming back. Welcome back to my channel if you're a returning viewer. Today I want to talk about shoulder pain. So it doesn't sound like a very exciting topic, but my take on it is not just physical, but shoulder pain and relating to joy, chakras, and healing in general. And but it's my current focus because when something's like going on in you, and you can probably relate to this, like a lot of times we ignore it until like it crops up as like the thing that is getting most of our attention, and we should probably pay attention to our bodies and what it's telling us. So I'm realizing now I really have to focus on my shoulder pain, and I was doing physical therapy for a little while on it. And I went to California, and I was, away. My daily routine got disrupted, and I thought it was getting better anyway. And I thought, it'll eventually get better. And then last week, it just kind of erupted and had a flare up, and it's been much worse than before. And so I have a hurt shoulder, and even like pops and cracks, and then a sharp pain. But, I'm not here to complain. I'm here to just talk about what I think this means and different ways of approaching it. So, yeah, I couldn't like do yoga without too much pressure on the shoulder, or, certain movements when lying down. Actually, it's been really bad. But what I've also been doing, it's really prompted me to get back into doing the physical therapy exercises. I haven't gone back to my physical therapist because, I need to be able to do the exercise at home, which I haven't always been, that disciplined. But right now it's become necessary, and it's been my focus. So I'm doing that. I'm doing the physical therapy. And so, but I've also been thinking, in the past I've had ailments, and I've used my thoughts and my visualization and to think about wellness. So I think this is true in all parts of life. You want to change something in your life, you need to visualize, make space for that thing to become what you want it to be. So in this case, healing is necessary to have time during your day when you think about something healing. So I spend time every morning, preferably, putting my hand on my shoulder and saying, it is well. My shoulder is well. It's healed. It's great. I have the shoulder of a young person. My shoulder is strong. It's healthy. It's never been better. I have a great shoulder. I really appreciate my shoulder. I'm so grateful for it. What a great, beautiful shoulder I have. Wonderful shoulder, and it's strong, it's healthy. Couldn't be better. It is a perfect shoulder. So that's the way, I do that. And then I also thought, oh, well, I may as well do EFT. So, if you don't know what that is, that's emotional freedom technique. And there's a method where you start on the side of your hand, and you say, even though I have this pain in my shoulder, whatever it is you want to work with, I still deeply and completely love and accept myself. And so there's a whole series of points that you go through on the body, tapping, and you repeat, you say, and actually you can say whatever is relevant. I don't understand why I have this. You can actually go into the negative, but you can work through it and keep tapping the series and say, hey, I'm ready to be healed. I'm open to healing. So that's another thing I'm doing. So EFT, or tapping on my shoulder. So as well as, some supplements, and of course the physical therapy exercises I've gotten back into. And so I've linked it actually to, so I mean, this thing's been going on. My shoulder's been going on for months, 6 months or more. It really happened in the spring. I think it was like kind of related to I was going through a very stressful work-related thing, and I think I was putting the stress into my computer, and I was using a laptop computer on my desk, and I think sometimes my, I was using the computer and stretching my shoulder, and I wasn't using good ergonomics. I've actually shifted to a desktop, and so I use a mouse, and I'm actually being much more careful about the placement of my arm, the ergonomics of using my computer now, and so that feels good. I like that, and recently I was wondering, I've often referred to, and when I think about it, Louise Hay. If you don't know who she is, she's deceased now, but she is the founder of Hay House Publishing. So a lot of kind of, I guess, new age authors are part of her publishing company, and so she has a book that came out years ago, like in the 80s, I think, that it's called "You Can Heal Your Life." So in that book, and I have one of the early editions. It's really just like a little pamphlet. She started out just like printing these copies and stapling them together herself at home and selling them. But when she first came out with it, but it was just her own intuition about different ailments, different body parts when they're not working. What does that mean? So I had the perspective or thought to go and say, well, what is she saying about the shoulders? And so the shoulders are meant to not carry a burden, but to carry joy. So so the affirmation is that you can you're carrying too, no, so you're carrying too much, so you can live life in joy, and that I'm open to more joy in my life. And so that certainly makes sense to me. And I was even like kind of meditating or consciously or doing my healing, conscious healing of my shoulder, and thinking, gosh, that really makes sense to me. That I was like carrying a lot of burden, like a lot of stress, a lot of worry, and it was manifesting in my shoulder, and it's related to the top of the spine there, which also I have been having some stress and pain. That actually feels better today, which I'm grateful for. Probably feels the best it's felt in weeks. And so all this insight about the pain that I've been carrying, the burden, which seems to be lifting. I seem to be feeling much more joyous and hopeful, and it fits into a larger arc in my life. And that seems like this is a large arc that I've been going through for the last year or so, where I'm going through a transformation. And if you've watched any of my other videos, I talk about I've been in a chrysalis, and I'm actually thinking I'm about to come out. That I'm towards the end of the chrysalis stage, and I'm about to sprout out. Maybe my wings have formed, but I'm still in the chrysalis, and perhaps I'm about to evolve into that next stage where I'm reborn outside of the chrysalis, and something new is going to happen. And so the shoulder pain has been part of that entire process. Perhaps it's probably going to take a while to heal, though. So I don't know if I have to heal it to come out of the chrysalis or not, but because these things don't heal up easily. It's going to take weeks of physical therapy, or doing, physical therapy exercises, and really giving it a lot of care, and making sure that I don't strain it in any way. But I believe it is part of that, and it's and the chakras that are related. It's not related to any particular chakra, but it's very close to near the heart chakra, which has to do with grief, sadness, love withheld, need for joy, and is close to the throat chakra, which is unspoken truth, inability to express myself freely. Um, so it's call this a crossroad of burdens, where heart, throat, energies meet. And so, and if I think about it consciously, and I think about that energy, all in here, my right shoulder here, and how it feels, and just giving mindfulness to that, and awareness. I have a yoga teacher, one of my favorite yoga teachers for the longest time. He's like, awareness is healing, the mindfulness is healing. So when you give your attention to something, that itself is healing. So that's what I do. So I'm hopeful that I will heal myself over time. Although I'm just kind of accepting the fact that I'm going to have this kind of weakness in my shoulder for a while, until the healing happens. So it is a calling to bring more joy back into my life, and to live my life from a place of joyful alignment, and in that consciousness, and dispelling. It's been a process for me this entire year, actually, of coming from a place of feeling lack and fear, to coming into a place where I'm feeling more abundant, more aligned, and having more faith that I can live my life in my own truth. And why not? I mean, why are we here if we can't live our lives in alignment with our own truth? And this is just an outer physical manifestation of that. And I feel like the more I affirm that that's how I can live my life and make the decisions that are in alignment with that fact, that truth, then the further along I am in that healing. So it really is. It is the manifestation of an internal fear, and lack, and feeling of worthiness has been a big theme of mine altogether. And to transition into a place of believing in myself, and living in believing that life can be good and joyous, and I'm really right on the cusp of that. There's no reason why my life is extremely good in so many ways, and I won't even try to list them here. I'm so fortunate, I'm so blessed in so many ways. So anyway, that's the lesson. That's my living lesson of life right now. And this healing is a bigger part of a much greater transformation. So it's really teaching me a lot. And I invite you. Why don't you tell me what is your body saying to you? Are there ways in which you aren't listening to your body, aren't giving conscious awareness to something in your body that needs your attention, that has a lesson associated with it that you haven't quite fleshed out yet, that is like, wow, this is what I need to learn, this is what I need to understand, and this is what I need to trust about the next phase and unfolding of my life, your life. And so pain can carry meaning, physical, emotional, energetic, and so healing is about reconnecting to that authenticity and that joy. So I would encourage you to do that, to give it that attention, What is it that you really want, you know? So anyway, that's what I'm going through right now, and that's my message for today. And I hope everyone's doing well. And okay, take care.